My child, do not scroll past this moment. I am speaking to you right now with an urgency that comes from love, not fear. The enemy hopes you will leave before I finish speaking, because he knows what happens when you listen fully. He knows that truth breaks chains, that light exposes hidden traps, that one moment in my presence can undo years of confusion. Give me just 1 minute. Your soul is standing at a crossroads right now. You may feel like this is just another message, just another voice among many, but listen to me closely. This moment was arranged before you ever arrived here. I saw the pressure around you, the quiet exhaustion, the thoughts you keep pushing away because they feel too heavy to face. I know how easy it would be to scroll away, to delay, to say later, but later has already cost you peace before. Stay with me now. There are paths opening and others closing. And the choice is not loud or dramatic. It is subtle and quiet, made in moments like this. I am not here to accuse you or frighten you. I am here because I love you too much to let you walk forward unaware. You have been praying for clarity, even if you didn't use those words. You have been asking for relief, for direction, for something to make sense. This is why you must not leave. 1 minute with me can protect you from years of regret. 1 minute can realign what has been drifting. I am not asking for your perfection, only your attention. Stay, my child, because what I am about to speak is meant to guard your heart and guide your steps. Do not rush past the very moment I am reaching for you. Listen carefully, beloved. I am asking you not with force, but with a voice that knows your weakness and still calls you chosen. If you walk away now, you may never realize the trap that was closing around you. The most dangerous traps are not the ones that look like destruction. They are the ones that feel familiar, comfortable, harmless. I see the patterns forming around you, the quiet compromises, the small distractions that seem innocent, but slowly pull you away from what gives life. Stay with me, because what I am about to reveal is meant to save you, not just from pain, but from becoming someone you were never meant to be. I know you are tired. I know part of you wants to rest from thinking, from choosing, from resisting, but understand this. Rest does not come from avoidance. It comes from truth. I am not here to overwhelm you. I am here to uncover what has been hidden so it can no longer harm you in silence. The enemy does not need to push you hard if he can simply wait for you to look away. That is why this moment matters. I am giving you clarity before confusion settles in deeper. I am offering light before the path grows darker. You do not have to fight alone. And you do not have to figure everything out right now. All I ask is that you stay. Listen with your heart, not just your ears. Let my words reach the places you avoid. What I reveal will not crush you, it will free you. Remain here with me, because walking away now would mean turning your back on the very help you have been asking for. My child, hear me with seriousness and with hope. 99 out of 100 will ignore this voice and fall without knowing why. Not because they are evil, not because they are foolish, but because they believe the lie that this moment is optional. They believe they have time, that warnings can wait, that clarity will come later, but you are still here. And that is not an accident. Something in you sensed that this mattered, even if you could not explain it. Do not turn away now. Your life depends on hearing this fully, not because I am threatening you, but because direction determines destination. I see how close you have come to certain edges, how often you told yourself you were fine while your spirit felt unsettled. I see the quiet battles, the questions you never voiced, the moments you felt a pull in your heart and ignored it. I am speaking now to interrupt that pattern. You are not weak for needing guidance. You are wise for staying. Most will choose noise over truth, comfort over correction, distraction over depth. But you, my child, are still listening. That tells me your heart is not asleep. Do not let impatience steal what awareness is trying to give you. Stay until the end, because every word builds upon the last. Leaving early would be like stopping halfway across a bridge. I am leading you somewhere safe, but you must keep walking with me. This is not about fear, it is about life. Remain here, because what you are about to understand will explain things you have felt but never fully understood. I am speaking now, and the darkness is afraid you will listen. That is not poetry, it is truth. Darkness survives in secrecy, in confusion, in half-truths and unanswered questions. The moment you truly listen, it begins to lose its grip. Give me 1 minute, because what you hear next will expose what has been hidden against you. I know you may be skeptical, cautious, guarded by disappointment from the past. I understand that, but hear me, exposure is not meant to shame you. It is meant to protect you. There are influences around you that do not announce themselves as harmful. There are voices that sound reasonable, feelings that feel justified, paths that look safe. I am about to pull back the curtain, not to overwhelm you, but to equip you. You have felt tension lately for a reason. You have sensed something was off but couldn't name it. That awareness is not anxiety, it is discernment awakening. Stay with me now, because once you see clearly, you cannot be easily deceived again. The enemy fears clarity more than strength, truth more than effort. You do not need to fight harder, you need to see better. That is what I am giving you now. 1 minute in my light can undo years of subtle confusion. Do not underestimate this moment. Do not dismiss this as coincidence. I am reaching you where you are because I want to lead you where you need to be. Stay, my child. Listen completely. What is about to be revealed will change how you move forward. My beloved child, hear me now and do not treat this moment as ordinary. I am speaking to you with intention, and nothing about this is accidental. You did not arrive here by chance. You did not pause at this moment because of habit or curiosity alone. I have drawn you here gently but deliberately, because this moment carries weight far beyond what your natural eyes can see. There are times when heaven leans closer, when the unseen world is more active than usual, and this is one of those times. I need you to understand that what feels like a simple pause in your day is actually a spiritual intersection. Decisions are forming, directions are being set, and silence or attention will shape what follows. That is why I am speaking with urgency and love together. I am not alarmed, but I am alert. I am not fearful, but I am firm, and I am asking you to stay present with me now. There are unseen forces active around you in this very moment. This does not mean you are in danger, but it does mean you are significant. The enemy does not waste effort on what has no value. He does not watch closely what carries no purpose. You have wondered before why distraction seems to follow you so persistently, why your focus is so often pulled away at the exact moment clarity begins to rise. That is not coincidence. Distraction is not a harmless habit. It is a carefully used weapon. It does not shout. It whispers. It does not attack openly. It gently nudges you away from stillness, away from listening, away from depth. The enemy's greatest desire is not to destroy you outright, because destruction draws attention. His greatest desire is silence, distance, and partial listening. He wants you to hear just enough to feel comforted, but not enough to be changed. He wants you to begin, but not to finish. That is why I am calling you now to listen fully. I want you to feel how close I am to you in this moment. Not distant, not watching from far away. I am here, right beside you, speaking directly to your heart, and I have something to tell you that you need to hear. You have been observed, not just by me, but by forces that do not love you the way I do. I want to say this carefully, because I am not trying to frighten you. I am trying to awaken you. You are not invisible to the unseen realm. Your choices, your struggles, your patterns, they have been studied. Not because you are cursed, but because you carry something that threatens darkness. The enemy does not invest time in those who pose no threat to his plans. He studies those who are meant to disrupt him, to bring light where he has maintained shadow. You have been watched because you matter. But here is what you must understand. Being watched does not mean being controlled. I have been watching too, and my attention is not like his. I do not study you to exploit weakness. I watch to protect. I observe to intervene. I see patterns forming, and I step in before they take root. I see traps being set, and I dismantle them before you arrive. There were moments you thought were random interruptions, delays that frustrated you, plans that fell apart without explanation, relationships that ended suddenly, opportunities that closed just when you thought they would open. You questioned those moments. You may have even felt abandoned by me in those moments. But many of those interruptions were not losses, they were rescues. I was shielding you from what your heart was not yet ready to handle, from what would have deepened wounds instead of healing them. The enemy saw those openings too, but he could not pass where I had already stood guard. You are still standing today not by accident, but by intervention. Let me show you something that has been hidden. The enemy does not always work through obvious evil. Often, he works through exhaustion, through discouragement, through quiet compromise, through numbness that feels like peace but is actually withdrawal. Listen closely now, because I am about to name the traps that were set for you and how I protected you from each one. First, there was discouragement. It did not arrive suddenly. It crept in slowly through unanswered prayers, delayed hopes, repeated effort that seemed to bring little change. You told yourself you were just being realistic, just lowering expectations so you wouldn't be hurt again. But discouragement was trying to convince you to stop expecting anything from me at all. There were mornings when you felt your strength draining, when waking up felt heavier than going to sleep, when you wondered if your efforts mattered. You were closer than you realized to accepting a life smaller than the one I designed for you. I saw that moment. I felt the weight in your heart, and I strengthened you quietly. I gave you just enough light to take one more step when you felt like stopping entirely. You thought it was willpower, but it was grace. Then came isolation. Not physical isolation at first, but emotional withdrawal. You began to keep more to yourself, to assume others wouldn't understand, to believe it was easier not to explain your pain. You smiled when you were with people, and fell apart when you were alone. Isolation told you that silence was safer than vulnerability. It whispered that your burdens were too much for others, that your wounds made you difficult to love. You almost believed it. You almost built walls so high that even my voice would have sounded distant. But I stepped in. I sent comfort when you least expected it, a message at the right time, a song that spoke directly to your heart, a memory that reminded you of my faithfulness. I reminded you again and again that you were not created to carry everything alone. And slowly, you began to let others in again, not because you forced yourself to, but because I softened the walls you had built. Next was compromise. This one came subtly, dressed as flexibility. You told yourself it was harmless to bend a little, to loosen certain convictions, to make peace with things that once unsettled your spirit. You didn't plan to drift far, only to rest. But compromise rarely announces where it leads. It only asks for a small step, then another. You were closer than you think to normalizing what once troubled you, to silencing the inner check that kept you aligned with truth. I watched your heart wrestle. I saw the discomfort you tried to ignore, and I blocked paths you didn't see. I made certain choices feel empty even when they seemed convenient. The discomfort was not guilt. It was my protection. It was my voice, still speaking, still guiding, even when you thought you had stopped listening. And then there was numbness. Perhaps the quietest trap of all. You grew tired of feeling deeply, because feeling deeply meant hurting deeply. So you learn to dull your emotions, to distract yourself, to stay busy, to scroll, to fill every quiet space. Numbness promised relief, but it came at a cost. It muted joy along with pain. It dimmed your sensitivity to my presence. You almost accepted a version of life where nothing hurt much, but nothing healed either. I saw you there. I saw how you survived by shutting parts of yourself down, and I did not condemn you. I waited patiently until you were ready to feel again. I allowed restlessness to stir, not to punish you, but to awaken you, because I knew that beneath the numbness, your heart was still alive. And I was not willing to let you settle for a life half-lived. Now, let me tell you what you could not see at the time. While the enemy was setting these traps, I was setting protections. While he was studying your patterns, I was redirecting your path. While he was whispering lies, I was planting truth in places you would find it later. There were conversations that never happened because I delayed them, relationships that ended because I knew they would lead you away from purpose, opportunities that closed because they were distractions disguised as blessings. You may have questioned those moments, you may have even felt frustrated by them, but many of those interruptions were not rejections. They were redirections. I was not withholding good from you. I was withholding harm. I was making sure that when the right doors opened, you would be ready to walk through them. And you are closer to those doors now than you realize. I want you to see the bigger picture now. You were not struggling alone. You were not abandoned in your confusion. You were not overlooked in your pain. Every moment you felt lost, I knew exactly where you were. Every time you cried in secret, I was there. Every time you wanted to give up, I strengthened you. Every time you felt too weak to continue, I carried you. You are still here because my hand never left you. And now, as you begin to see more clearly, I want you to understand something important. The enemy's attention toward you is not a sign of your weakness. It is a sign of your worth. You were targeted because you carry something he cannot afford to see awakened. You were studied because your future threatens his plans. You were tested because what you are becoming will bring freedom to others. But hear me clearly. Recognition does not give him authority. Authority belongs to me, and I have never removed my hand from your life. Even when you felt alone, you were not unprotected. Even when your prayers felt unanswered, they were not unheard. Even when your mind was clouded, your spirit was still being covered. I have been watching too, but not to accuse, not to exploit, not to wait for you to stumble. I have been watching to guard, to guide, to intervene. My attention has never left you, not for a moment. You may now begin to see patterns more clearly. You may recognize how certain thoughts always appeared after specific emotions, how certain temptations followed specific wounds. This awareness is not meant to overwhelm you. It is meant to empower you. What is exposed loses its power to operate in secret. The enemy relies on darkness and repetition. I rely on light and truth. And now, truth is reaching you gently, steadily, without panic. I want you to know something deeply personal. I never blamed you for what you didn't understand. I never withdrew because you struggled. I never stepped back because you were tired. My protection was not conditional on your perfection. It was rooted in my love. When you were weak, I was strong for you. When you were confused, I remained clear. When you were vulnerable, I stayed near. You are not behind because of what you have faced. You are not damaged beyond repair. You are not marked for defeat. You are marked for redemption, for clarity, for strength that comes from understanding rather than striving. What once confused you will soon teach you. What once hurt you will no longer control you. What once targeted you will no longer intimidate you, because you are beginning to see. Let this truth settle in you without fear. Yes, you were watched. Yes, you were studied. Yes, you were targeted. But you were also protected, guided, and preserved. The enemy saw your wounds, but I saw your heart. He studied your habits, but I shaped your future. He looked for weakness, but I supplied grace. And grace has always been stronger. You are still standing because I have been holding you. You are still listening because I have been calling you. You are still here because this story is not over. Lift your head, my child. You are not a victim of unseen forces. You are a child under my care, and now that you see more clearly, you will walk more confidently, not in fear, but in trust, knowing that the one who protects you has always been with you and always will be. But I am not finished speaking yet. There is something else I need you to understand, something that will give you even greater confidence as you move forward. The traps I have shown you, discouragement, isolation, compromise, numbness, these were not random attacks. They were strategic. They were designed specifically for you, tailored to your history, your wounds, your personality. The enemy is methodical. He does not waste effort on generic temptations. He studies what has worked before and refines his approach. But here is what you must remember. I know his strategies better than he does. I see his plans before they are set in motion. I hear his whispers before they reach your ears. I recognize his patterns before they form. And because I see ahead, I can prepare you. I can position you. I can protect you in ways you never notice until you look back and realize, I should have fallen there, but I didn't. This is what I want you to carry forward. You are not walking into an unknown future. You are walking into a future I have already prepared. I have gone before you. I have cleared paths. I have set protections. I have positioned people and opportunities in places you have not yet arrived. The enemy may be watching, but he is always reacting to what I have already done. He moves in response to my plans, not the other way around. He can only work within the boundaries I allow, and I allow only what will ultimately serve your growth, your strength, your purpose. Nothing that touches your life escapes my awareness. Nothing happens by chance. Every challenge has been measured. Every test has been weighed. Every struggle has been filtered through my love before it ever reached you. This does not mean you will not face difficulty. It means you will never face more than you can bear with my help. I am telling you this now because you are entering a new season. You are stepping into something you have been prepared for. Something you may not feel ready for, but something you are absolutely equipped for. The enemy knows this. That is why there has been increased resistance lately. That is why certain struggles have intensified. That is why you have felt more opposition than usual. But do not mistake intensity for failure. Intensity is often a sign that you are close to breakthrough. The enemy does not fight what poses no threat. He does not invest energy in those who will remain stagnant. He fights those who are moving forward, those who are about to step into purpose, those who are on the verge of something significant. Your increased struggle is evidence that you are advancing, not evidence that you are failing. And here is what I want you to remember. As you move forward, the same God who protected you in what you did not see is the same God who will guide you in what you will see. The same grace that carried you through past battles will carry you through future ones. You are not starting over. You are building on everything I have already done in you. The lessons you learned in secret will now serve you in public. The strength you gained in struggle will now empower you in purpose. The clarity you are receiving now will guide you in decisions ahead. Nothing you have walked through was wasted. Every moment was preparation, and now you are ready for what comes next. So hear me clearly, my child. Do not shrink back because of what you have faced. Do not hesitate because of past struggles. Do not doubt because the path ahead looks uncertain. I am with you. I have always been with you, and I will continue to be with you. The enemy wanted to use your past to paralyze you. but I am using your past to propel you. What was meant to break you has made you stronger. What was meant to confuse you has made you wiser. What was meant to isolate you has made you more dependent on me, and that dependence is not weakness. It is your greatest strength, because when you lean on me, you are leaning on the one who holds all things together. When you trust me, you are trusting the one who sees the end from the beginning. I do not guess. I do not hope. I know. And I know that what I have started in you, I will complete. Before I finish, I want to leave you with one final truth. You are deeply loved. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Not because you have arrived, but because I am with you on the journey. Every step you take, I am there. Every decision you make, I am guiding. Every tear you cry, I am collecting. Every moment of joy, I am celebrating with you. You are not alone. You have never been alone, and you will never be alone. The enemy wanted you to believe you were forgotten, overlooked, insignificant. But the truth is this: you are seen, known, and deeply valued. Your life matters, your choices matter, your presence in this world matters, and I am not done with you yet. So rise up now with confidence, not confidence in yourself alone, but confidence in the one who walks with you. Not confidence that you will never struggle, but confidence that you will never struggle alone. I am calling you forward. I am calling you higher. I am calling you into everything I have prepared for you. The path may not always be easy, but it will always be purposeful. The journey may not always be comfortable, but it will always be worth it. Trust me, my child. Trust that I see what you cannot see. Trust that I am working even when you cannot feel it. Trust that every moment is leading somewhere good. And as you move forward, remember this: you are protected, you are guided, you are loved beyond measure. Walk confidently, walk boldly, walk knowing that the one who began this good work in you will be faithful to complete it. Now, I want to ask you to do something. If this message has touched your heart, if you felt my presence as you listened, if something shifted inside you, I want you to acknowledge it. Not for me, but for yourself. In the comments below, simply write, "Jesus, I trust you." Let that declaration be a line drawn in the sand. A moment you can look back on and remember, this is when I chose to believe. This is when I chose to trust. This is when I chose to move forward in faith. And if this message is reaching you, it is meant to reach someone else too. Share this video, not because I need you to, but because someone in your circle is fighting the same battles you just learned about. Someone is walking through the same traps you just saw exposed. They need to hear this. They need to know they are not alone. They need to be reminded that they are protected, guided, and deeply loved. Be the one who carries this light forward. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel, because this is not the last message you need to hear. There is more I want to speak into your life. More truth I want to reveal. More freedom I want to bring. Stay connected. Keep listening. Keep growing. My beloved child, you are not here by accident. This moment was meant for you. This message was spoken over you. This truth was designed to set you free. Now go forward with confidence. Walk in the light of what you now know. Live in the freedom of what has been revealed. I am with you always. And that changes everything.